With View Router, it's possible to provide routes with multiple views. That way, you can compose layouts at the route level. For instance, let's say that we wanted to add a left sidebar on the protected pages. How might we go about doing that? Well, to begin with, we'll need to create a view component, and I'll call it left sidebar. And even though technically we'll use this as a page, it'll never be a page used all by itself. Therefore, I've decided to put it in the components directory. Next, let me just paste the contents of this component in here. As you can see, it's just some links to the protected pages, along with a little bit of styling. Now, to give this sidebar a place to show up, over in app.view, I'll use what's called a named view. This named view is the exact same thing as a normal router view, except that it has the name property. You can think of it much like a named slot. Finally, just for styling purposes, I'll give our default router view a class of main view. And then I'll add some styles to make the left sidebar show up on the left-hand side. Alright, if we check things out in the browser now, you'll see that none of our pages include the left sidebar. That's actually pretty great, because that means that we can now pick and choose which pages to include it on. Alright, let's add it to the protected page and the invoice page. We can do this over in the router file. Instead of passing a component property to the route, we'll instead provide a components property. That is component plural. And the value will become an object, with the default view being defined like so. Now, we can also specify the named route. The important part here is that the key is the same as the name given to our router view over in the app.view file. Cool. Let's do the same now for the invoices route as well. Awesome. Now let's see how it looks. You can see that on the pages where we didn't provide the left sidebar as one of the components, everything still looks the same. However, when we go and visit any of the protected pages, perfect, we get the sidebar here on the left. And it works for both the dashboard and the invoices page. Very cool. You might have noticed that our page transition looks a little funky now though. To fix that, let's just wrap our left sidebar view with the same transition as the main view. Whoops, looks like we left something out. We left off the V slot. Nice, that looks better. When going to the dashboard page, we do still get a little jump on the size of the sidebar here because of Flexbox, but that's really not important as far as View Router is concerned, so we'll just leave it alone. In conclusion, we're able to determine the layout of the page based on the way we set up the route in the router file. This is not an approach I've ever taken before in a real application, but with ViewRouter, it's definitely possible.